on, my friends? Butcher Wall Street, Marcel Kalinovic coming at you here. I wanted to give you guys an update on the latest AMC lawsuit. There's a new lawsuit against AMC, if you may or may not know, but I'm going to give you my opinions on it here shortly. Give me a quick thumbs up. Drop me a comment down in the live chat if you can hear me okay. I want to make sure you guys can hear me again. Since it's a live stream, it's pretty impromptu. Also, if it's not too much trouble, if you find some value in this video, feel free to drop a thumbs up for the stream itself. TK, Corporate AP, Nina, Russell, thank you guys very much for the feedback. Welcome to the stream, says Bookman. Thank you to all the mods and everybody watching right now. So, in case you're unaware, there's been a new lawsuit issued against AMC, and it has been issued by the exact same people, you would say, you know, the shills, if you will, that issued the last lawsuit. And that's pretty evident in the timing and in the format in which it's been issued in the Chancery Court of Delaware. So looking at the facts are this. Chancellor Zern, the judge, has already approved the reverse split, the conversion, the settlement, and the issuances of new shares. So it's pretty clear to me that it's good to go. Okay, no problem. I'm glad to do this update because I keep getting questions about it, and I knew I would get a lot of questions the moment that it came out. The lawsuit was settled, and the judge approved everything this last Friday, and AMC filed the proper documentation with the Securities Exchange Commission on Monday. The plan is for the reverse split to take place on Thursday, the 24th, I believe it is, and then on Friday, the 25th, because the reverse split has to settle, right? The trades have to settle. On the 25th, the following day, will be the conversion of APE shares to AMC. I'm seeing a lot of people misunderstanding the documentation. After the reverse split, every APE share will be representative of 10 AMC shares. But that doesn't change the fact that every APE is going to be one AMC share. So for every share of APE, AMC preferred equity unit, that a shareholder has by that date, by the effective date, they will receive one share of AMC. However, they will not receive one for every 7.5 shares in the settlement. These are two different things. The conversion, the reverse split, and the settlement are three different things technically. So if you have 100 shares of AMC, you will receive one free share of AMC for every 7.5 that you have after the fact. Okay, that is separate from the conversion of APE to AMC. For every share of APE that you have at the conversion, you will receive one share of AMC. If you don't have any AMC shares, you will not receive the settlement shares of one for every 7.5. Keep in mind, different things, right? So there was an appeal through the Supreme Court as well, through the Supreme Court of Delaware, and that was denied. The Supreme Court Justice has denied the appeal. Now that is also separate from the new lawsuit. The new lawsuit is trying to state that all APE shareholders must also receive the settlement that AMC shareholders are receiving. Now, here's where people are getting concerned. People aren't sure if that's going to affect the current timing of things. And I will say this. I'm not a judge, right? From what I'm seeing and from what is visible in the case, the judge has already ruled that the AMC conversion, reverse split, settlement of shares, and issuance of shares can take place. Therefore, I believe it to be highly unlikely that any of that will be delayed. Okay, the new lawsuit will likely go to court, and if there's a settlement, that will likely take place after the conversion, reverse split, issuance of shares, etc. So don't be overly concerned is what my thoughts are. That's at least how I feel. I've looked at it in depth with people in the think tank, some very talented people that you probably already know, but I'm not going to name names because I don't like to name drop. But we looked at it in depth for several hours over the last several days, individually and together. and I've come to the conclusion that it's not really something that I'm concerned about. So the lawsuit has been settled. The conversion, the reverse split, the settlement of shares, and the issuance of new shares by AMC is approved. And every time we've seen it in the past, January of 2021 and June of 2021, that AMC issued shares, the price started to skyrocket. And it continued to trend upwards until they stopped issuing shares. That's pretty good here. When AMC stopped issuing shares, at that point, like on June 2nd, 2021, the stock price began to come down as trades were routed through dark pools and over the counter. So, in my opinion, everything remains perfectly on track for these corporate actions to take place. I remain extremely confident in my position with AMC, APE, and my call contracts. Sorry, something down there was messing with me. So yeah, like Gorilla Garage says, don't be nervous, my friends. Be confident and have courage. And that's exactly how I'm feeling. I'm feeling completely calm and honestly extremely excited in what's to come. Now, as you can see, this garden behind me, I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it over the last few years, and my time here is just about over. Just this year, I built these 2 raised garden beds, which I spent about $1,000 on as far as lumber costs and having several yards of dirt and compost and vermiculite, etc., trucked in. I did just build these at the beginning of this year. You know, they're about 25 feet long, 24 inches high, 30 inches wide, and 30 inches apart. I've got them set up with a nice trellis system and everything. The AMC portion of this video is for the most part over, so if you don't care about gardening or anything like that, or Lit Exchange, you can feel free to take off. Just please drop a thumbs up for the stupid YouTube algorithm so it'll share it with more people. It's not for my ego. I could give a fuck all how many likes or dislikes are on the video. But yeah, the garden I absolutely love. Unfortunately, my home is already under contract. The inspection, the appraisal have all gone well, knock on wood. They've all gone very swimmingly, and we're set to close next week. So I've got to be the fuck out of Illinois. But the reason that I'm doing this, aside from providing a better life for my family and leaving the state of Illinois, the main reason that I'm doing this is to take my company, Lit Exchange, to Dallas, Texas. Lit Exchange is is an incoming broker dealer, much like you would think of Robinhood or Webull or Fidelity or Schwab. These are all broker dealers. The difference is Lit Exchange is going to directly route orders to lit markets and try to keep orders out of the OTC. There's a vast difference there. So that being said, as much as I love this place and this garden, it's time to get out of here. And I spent, like I said, another $1,000 just building this, and I built it myself. You know, otherwise it would cost me more. I did do some carpentry in the past, so it was fairly easy for me. It did take the better part of 2 whole days, you know, probably like 16 hours of actual labor getting everything done, and then another, you know, probably 6 hours and wheelbarrowing in all the dirt and stuff like that. And then God knows how many hours I've actually spent out here cultivating this from seed. So I'm going to take you guys on a quick tour of my garden here, because I know there's a lot of green thumbs and a lot of garden enthusiasts in the think tank and here on the channel. And so I'm just going to give you guys a quick look around so you can take a look for yourself. It's beautiful out here. I do love it. Not looking forward to leaving. You know, it's a nice, relatively clear day out here in the suburbs. But this is what it looks like from one side here. I've got 2 of these garden beds that I built myself, as I just told you. And we're growing a little bit of everything. You know, we've got some really nice, massive sunflowers here, which we're going to take the sunflower seeds and bake them in the oven and have some fresh sunflower seeds. But as you can see how the size of the head of that sunflower is absolutely massive, even in comparison to the size of my hands. But it is starting to get knocked over there from all the storms that we've had. We've got a couple trellises set up here for the cucumbers and the tomatoes and whatnot. I really did put a lot of effort and love into this house, and I'm definitely gonna miss this garden. You know, so we've got a few different sunflowers here for the seeds, which we're gonna bake. I got a bunch of kale. Looks like this is Premier Kale. This is garbage. This can go. Got Premier Kale. I think probably kale smoothies and kale chips are probably one of my favorite things in the world. Absolute superfood. We've got some fresh basil growing here. That's what these massive leaves are. Yeah, but take a look at the size of these sunflowers. And it's got so many offshoots also. It's really growing in nicely. Got some cucumbers in there. The cucumbers have pretty much exceeded their lifespan. They have given me very copious amounts of cucumbers. We've got some small ones and some large ones. These are some of the pickling cucumbers that we've grown here in the garden. I'll take that in a minute. So they're starting to wither up and basically die off, because once they produce a number of cucumbers, even if you pick them all, they don't have much of a lifespan. They usually only last about 3 months. Another sunflower there. We've got a couple more. We've got some lacinato kale. And it looks like my cayenne. Oh, is that a cayenne? I see the tiny peppers on there. Got some cayenne peppers, I think, in here. Just starting to grow, which is really late in the season, but they're kind of getting glazed over by the dinosaur kale, lacinato kale as this is called. Got some more Russian kale. It's called Blue Russian. Bookman's mom's already giving him ideas for the garden, bro. That's great, dude. And this is probably my favorite part, is tomatoes. I absolutely love fresh garden tomatoes. This is a bush steak tomato, and they're coming in pretty nicely. They're smaller tomato, but very large amounts. These big guys here, these are super steak tomatoes. Take a look at them. Again, also very nicely sized. Gonna have to take these inside. I've probably got about 100, and thanks to my good friend Silverback and a few others, they've given me some really good ideas and recipes for different kinds of tomato sauces and whatnot. Thanks again. We've got these awesome little, these are sun sugar tomatoes. Fantastic. Probably the best tomato I've ever had. Thanks to Cash Money for recommending these. But these are a vining tomato. By the end of the season, these will be up and over the top of the actual trellis itself too. Got a little garden sign my kids were painting. And then over here we've got some Cherokee carbon tomatoes. This is a hybrid tomato, a mixture from Cherokee, the Cherokee tomato and the carbon tomato to make the Cherokee carbon. And that's why they've got that unique look to them. Do have a little, no, actually they look pretty good. Got a little bit of lettuce down there, still growing, probably starting to bolt at this point. Well, here we've got the watermelons hanging out by the house. Always got to grow the watermelons. Quick tip in case you didn't know, don't try to grow more than 1 or 2 watermelons per plant, because they will not do well. Again, more tomatoes, sunflowers and such all around the side of the house here. Over there in front of the golf cart, got some more sunflowers. These things grow to be about 2 stories tall. They grow almost to the top of my house by the time they're fully grown. But yeah, it's been a great learning experience having a fresh garden. You know, it's all 50-50 mix basically of compost and actual dirt. And then I mixed in some vermiculite, about a 20-pound bag of vermiculite from Amazon for around $50, which I thought was a great deal. Do like to come out here with the kids. They like to pick the tomatoes right off the vine, you know, cruise in here, run around in the garden. It makes it easy access as well. It's very pretty. And I just enjoy the ambiance. I like to come out here and sit out here on the lawn chairs and whatnot. Not to mention the food, you know, producing your own food, I think is one of the most important things in the current environment. You know, you see this one's starting to split here due to uneven watering. We've had a lot of storms lately, so the massive amounts of rain that comes in does cause them to start split when they get to a certain size. So, for example, this tomato's got to go. It's got to be eaten relatively quickly. Otherwise, it'll just finish splitting off there. You can see here we've got some great chard. Make some excellent lettuce with the chard. You just cut off the red line. I know it looks like rhubarb, but it's not. It's just Swiss chard. We've got rainbow chard over here. Got some blue one, some yellow one as well with the yellow stalks. Then we've got some super steak tomatoes. They're growing in really nicely. I have so many I got to really share with the neighbors here. I'm constantly giving these things to my family and friends, and making tomato sauces and soups and stuff like that. Got some really awesome looking kale right here. It's gonna make some badass kale smoothies. I think that's my go-to every morning. It's kale smoothies. Got a little blank spot here because the zucchini plant gave me like 20 massive zucchini that I haven't planted anything in the spot there. I'll probably leave that there for the neighbors. Got some spinach plants here. This is a spinach plant that's starting to bolt off at this point because we've already harvested a good amount. Again, lots of kale. It's one of my favorites. And the cucumbers are pretty much dying off. They've just about seen the end of their lifespan. So I could actually plant another cucumber plant or two and have them go all the way to the top of this. This was completely covered on both sides with cucumbers as well. For those of you that are wondering, they grow extremely well up a trellis. And then over here we've got more of these are not sun sugar, but these are sun gold tomatoes. And they look very similar, but they let off copious amounts of these tomatoes. My daughters enjoy more than anything to come out here and just rip them right off the vine. So that's been that's one of my most fulfilling things, is to be able to feed my family, you know, make caprese salads and stuff like that, and they just come out here and just tear them right off. Oh yeah, and we need a popcorn tree for AMC popcorn. That sounds like a great idea. Yeah, Jana, looks like your cucumbers are dying off in California too. We're having the same thing. It's like over here we've got a banana pepper plant that I've already taken about 10 banana peppers off, which was a pretty good harvest. See, there's a couple little babies on there that are just starting to come in, but nothing too major. And then we've got some bell peppers. Got a little bell pepper plant hiding out here underneath. They like to get shade, so I like to let them hang out here underneath the sunflower plants. They make a good companion plant. Then we've got a bunch more. I've got some tomatoes already on the side here. These are basically going to be taking these with me. So I've got some potted up here so that I can take them with me when we move and plant them at our new house. Got a bunch of strawberry plants here. I planted about 75 strawberry plants. They, for the most part, finished their life as well, except, you know, some of them are still giving us a good amount of strawberries. These little towers are sweet. But I learned, this is my first time ever using one of these towers, I learned you got to put more dirt in them for them to properly thrive. Got some pretty little wildflowers here that we planted just for kicks. Again, just more wildflowers and such. I'm going to transplant these out to a larger container here shortly. And lots of runners on these strawberry plants. See, when you get these runners like that, all you got to do is take that and put it in a little soil. As long as you don't cover the crown, which is the bottom part, you can pretty much replant it, and it will give you a new strawberry plant. So I'm going to try to take good care of these and help these grow back, even though some of them are getting torn up by the bugs. Let's see if there's any strawberries left. Yeah, I got a few strawberries still left here, which I did plant Seascape strawberries, for those of you that were wondering, as well as Albion strawberries. Let's see if I have a tag. I can't remember the name of the other one. I can't remember the name of the other one that I planted right now. Damn, those are fucking good. Yeah, so I'm taking all these with me. Some of the tomato plants. I'm going to take cuttings from all the tomatoes. You can see here some lettuce. Got some red lettuce that's totally bolting on me, but that's all right. Probably still going to use that for some salads and whatnot. So yeah, that's my garden. I've got some more there growing up against the house, but I'm not gonna go up on the side of the house right now. Really happy with the way that this turned out. I haven't stained the wood. I know that might annoy some people, but the thing is that I decided if I stayed here, I could just replace a piece of wood every 4 to 5 years if they started to rot or whatever. So that's not really a big deal for me. I like the natural look as well, although you could just take like some linseed oil and brush them down with linseed oil, and that'll do a good job of sealing it in. But yeah, my favorite tomato so far, my kids as well, is the sun sugar and the sun gold, and you will get vast amounts of these, they just grow like crazy. And this thing will continue to give off fruit until, in Chicago, until late November before they start dying off. Not all of them are that resilient, but those plants do really well in these conditions. So those are the basics of my garden right now. Probably going to plant some more cucumbers so the people that move into the house have some fresh cucumbers for themselves as well. That's where we stand, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Boss Garden. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, I just had a lot of people asking me about self-sufficiency and how to grow a proper garden and what to do, and you know how I built these. So I just figured I'd let you know. They're about 25 feet long, about 30 inches wide, 20 inches tall, 30 inches apart. Well, I probably put way more effort into making them perfectly square than I had to, but my OCD was really setting me off. Plus 10 gardening skill. I appreciate it, guys. You know, that's pretty much where we're at. Very much looking forward to see what happens with AMC. I'm not really thinking twice about this new lawsuit. I don't think it holds much merit, but even if it does, it'll likely not affect anything, in my opinion, until after the conversion reverse split happens. And even still, if AMC raises billions of dollars off of the share issuance, they'll have no problem giving away a few shares to ape holders as well. So that being the case, if you're tagging me on Twitter, if you're tagging me on YouTube and you're wondering about this new lawsuit, I don't give a shit about the lawsuit because AMC has already received the approvals from Chancellor Zern. That being said, I wish you peace and wealth. Make sure you're properly hedged. Oh, and if you didn't know, the AMC cost to borrow is now 975%. 975%. Average cost to borrow, by the way, not the minimum, not the maximum, but the average is 975. The minimum was over 804%, and the maximum was over 1,000%, ladies and gentlemen. We're looking at around 28.5% short interest. There was 4 million shares borrowed today for a net increase of 3.8 million shares borrowed today alone. Damn, we're gonna be so fucking rich. Make sure you're properly hedged. Act accordingly. I wish you peace and wealth. Drop a thumbs up if you don't mind, and go to litexchange.com if you guys want to learn more. Sign up for the beta or have the opportunity to be part of our founders program. Founders will become owners in the company. Imagine what it would have been like if you could have owned a portion of Fidelity before they became a multi-billion-dollar company, because I have no doubts in my mind that that's coming in the near future. I've already started and operate several multi-million-dollar companies, and like I said, I'm here for billions with an S, and I'm here to start a company for retail by retail that allows retail to have actual power on the stock market, and that's why LitExchange is coming to fruition over the last 2 years. So thanks again, everybody. I appreciate you. Keep it up with that herb garden flapjack. Don't get discouraged, my man. This is just to try to give you guys inspiration for your own things. You know what I mean? Once I move, I'm looking forward to rebuilding my garden, getting chickens, that whole 9 yards. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great day. Wish you peace and wealth.